All right, fuck it. I'll fix it in post. That's what I'll do. Hey everybody, it's Brian. It's Tuesday, and I'm a little late. I do apologize for that. I tried to be better than I tried to be at work. Had a big meeting. I'm actually, as disgusted as I am with the infosec industry, I'm actually happy about where I am working at right now because I am very much working on things that I'm very interested in working on. I think that makes sense, right? Um, one second. I actually got a hold of a very interesting link just before we literally started the stream here. And I will tell you in a very efficient way of exfiltrating data out of your own company, if you're not, mixing the beams, is to connect your personal Slack to your work computer and then copying and pasting stuff across the channels. Now, I'm not doing anything illegal. It was just an interesting link to a story. Oh wait, I put it in the wrong. I put it in the wrong one. 1 second here. Doink. There we go. Doink. There we go. All right. Excellent. It's an IBM security incident responder study that somebody had posted up from 6 July to the 13, 2022. I'm not, hey, Beta Wolf, what's up? Hey, awesome. Let me make sure I'm using the right mouse. Oh shit. Okay. All right. There we go. Yeah, literally, I just got out of that meeting, and then Lady P said, "Hey, Brian, are you going to record today?" And I was like, "Oh, yes, I am." I was working on. I don't even have water. God damn it. Well, I'll be making. Oh, I've also changed my office. I've moved things around, so I've got my "This is Fine" dog in the back. It's so so my desk used to face this way, and there's a wall over there, and the windows were here on the right, and so now I've moved my desk this way with the idea, and I'm actually looking at one of the things in trying to quote unquote leave InfoSec. I'm trying to find other avenues with which to use my studio and office and things. And I was looking at doing some voiceover work or some audiobook stuff. There's a lot of folks out there that write books that for certain companies that don't do audiobooks. Tends to, like No Starch, for instance, don't do audiobooks. And I thought, well, maybe if somebody wanted to pay me to read their audiobook, I could sit here with my nice little microphone and, run a little Reaper digital audio workstation, and I could do, basically what I hear this guy do. Robert Jordan, the guy who does the audiobooks did like all 14 of the audiobooks and the prequel book. And the lady too. There's a lady on there. Kate Redding and Michael Kramer. Once you hear Michael Kramer's voice, you hear him everywhere. He did he's done 30 years of these books. Every year it comes out and they do a new audiobook. He reads them, and Kate has read them as well. And they do a great job. So, I actually went to, I think, voices.com, which does like voiceover work. Of course, they want you to pay for the premium stuff, but I would really like to maybe do some voiceover work, or maybe not like cartoons and stuff, but there's a lot of work in voice acting and things, and I have a voice for radio anyway and a face for radio, so maybe that's something I can do in the long term, even after I figure out what I'm going to do with my life, and what InfoSec looks like. So I love how much data compression was contained in that query. How much data? I don't know what that means, Lady P. No, I don't want to open up a brew. How stereotypical is that there, Beta Wolf? People either brew beer, they're into iron, blacksmithing, or whatever. If they're, a dude in InfoSec. It's like, oh, I enjoy whiskey, or I enjoy, blacksmithing or something. I'm like, seriously? Yeah. Um, Beta Wolf, I'm ex-Navy. I'm not an ex-InfoSec guy, but no, I don't want to do a brewery. I have no interest in beer. Um, yeah, I don't drink beer. If I could create White Claw or something like that, then that would be good. I could do a White Claw, or maybe a vineyard. I could do a vineyard. I'd drink all the profits. I'd be happy doing it. Have a nice Cabernet Sauvignon or a nice Pinot Grigio, something like that. That would be nice. Yeah, Picarded, exactly. Break family estates, that kind of thing. A couple of 100 acres in Napa, or no, not Napa. I wouldn't want to do Napa. I've heard great things about Santa Barbara. Temecula's got a huge wine growing area. Walla Walla, been out to Walla Walla several times. Walla Walla Walla. My tongue's huge. Walla Walla, the Yakima Valley area. That was a really nice visit we took out there. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't hate being a vineyard. That would be pretty sweet. But yeah. So yeah, I moved things around. I've repositioned my CPU. I got rid of the microphone boom that I had. It's kind of more of a flexible thing, so it moves around a little bit. But yeah. So my meeting, my work at work has become a bit more important, and the stream's not going anywhere. I'm actually just happy at my work, or happier at my work. Lady P, that was about my questions changing of the desk situation. I went to high school in Walla Walla. Oh, hey, CPO Parker. That's Walt. Walt is going to be joining us tomorrow night for CSEC East. We're going to be at Lunchbox Lab in Bellevue if any of the Seattle-based folk are here. Well, see, so CPO Parker, so CPO, we're moving to San Diego. So our nearest wine country is going to be Temecula, followed up by Lompoc and the Santa Barbara area, or San Luis Obispo, which I love the Central Coast of California. It's a beautiful place. I was stationed in Monterey and Big Sur and Carmel. Beautiful, beautiful part of the world to live in. Very temperate climate. It's lovely. Beta Wolf, you come out. You come on out tomorrow. We'll take care of you. You come on out. You need a break, so come on out and we'll take care of you. But yeah, it's interesting because what we're doing, and I'll make sure that I'm not saying anything that's going to get me fired. We're moving processes. So one of the things that we've been doing for a while now is the way we certify certain applications and services and items are, it's a bit old. It's a bit dated. The application is about 12 years old. There's a lot of folks that are unhappy with the performance of it. The team that manages the system is very mature, and asking them to make improvements to the system of a 12-year-old code base is one that is not easy. There's a lot of peccadillos. I'm sure there's a lot of garbage and leftover from that. And so we're moving to this new system, and I first started out as somebody who's going to be helping to pilot through this new system, and all of a sudden I've become one of the project managers that is helping get shit moving, because it appears that the person who was working on this left. So she was an amazing human being, and she has like a size 45 shoe and ass kicking, and I wear about a size 8. I mean, she's awesome. Cannot fill her shoes, but I'm trying to help facilitate communication. I'm trying to, bring the what ifs into place, trying to find, because I use the system that we're using now and I hate it, but I hate it because it's old and you can't do anything about it. So I'm working on process improvement, which is something I've always enjoyed doing. I'm trying to find better ways of doing things and still maintaining or even exceeding what we're doing for security. So, having working meetings with the team, making sure that I've always been one to ask what your blockers are and how to fix them. I've always heard it's like carrying the water, I think is what they call it. But my idea is to make sure that the people who are trying to get things done, or the people coding, or the people trying to make things happen, are not blocked by anything. And I'm trying to help out with that. And this is a big enough project where we actually have a couple of PMs on this. And to be honest, I like programs that are going to be impactful. And this is about as impactful as it's going to be. I mean, this is going to be something that this company is going to be using for years to come. And getting in on the ground floor is important to me. And, for some people, they're motivated by different things. Some people are motivated by money. My wife says there's three of them. There's money, power, and recognition. I want to say those are one of the three motivators. I could be wrong. I definitely know it's money. I definitely know that it's power and prestige. I think those are the three: power and prestige. I am very much an impactful person. I want to work on impactful projects that actually going to mean something to people. And when I found out that this was available and that the person was leaving the organization, I told my boss, ooh. And I was like, I want to do this. I want to do this. So I do appreciate him allowing me to do this. So I don't want to screw it up. I want to do a good job. So a lot of it is threat modeling, but not threat modeling in the traditional sense. I really think a lot of the what ifs that I'm dealing with, at least in this respect, is not abuse cases, but how people, threat modeling doesn't have to be about threats. It has to be, does this make sense for some people? Does this work? Why, explain to me the process as if I'm 5 years old, or I'm just, you just picked me up off the side of the road and I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. Can I take this process and run with it as is? Trying to find the weak points in the system, the use and abuse cases that they would have. These are different threats than just security threat modeling. Instead of, input validation or, insecure direct object references, this is, how would people, what if somebody decided to delete this? Whoops. That's what I get for fiddling with shit. So my wife's going to come down and ask me what the hell that was. So I did it again. The abuse cases, or, the problems, or the issues that the user is going to have for experience. I came up with this just recently. It was like, if it gets above X number of percentage, it's just going to shut off. And I'm like, well, what happens if a person's trying to use that? Are they going to get any kind of notification that this system is just shut off? No, they're not going to get anything. It's going to fail silently. And I'm like, from a usability point of view, or from a user experience point of view, if all of a sudden my phone can't connect to something, what am I going to do? What's my troubleshooting efforts? Am I going to get an error code? Hey, sorry, PC load letter. Well, what the fuck does that mean? From a PM point of view, at least when you're making new process and whatever, customer experience or customer, usability, accessibility, those things are the threat model stuff that you should be looking for, at least in my opinion. So when I'm thinking about these things, especially, new processes, it's like, okay, well, we have all this data over here from the old process. What are we going to do in the new process? Are we just going to copy the old data over and map, one-to-one? Or are we going to, take some things from this and, put it in here? Are we going to go, this goes away, all brand new data? And, it's like, they're asking I'm in this meeting and I asked that question. They're like, that's a good question. I don't know what we're going to do. So I hope I'm asking questions from a PM point of view, from a user experience point of view, that is helpful. At least I'm making them think, which I think is part of, 85% of the problem. It's like engineers are good at engineering, but the security stuff, we have to remind them, hey, do security. And then from a user point of view, they use the application all the time. So they know the little peccadillos. They understand, the leaps of logic in, oh, in making things work. They know just to, click here in this blank area because that's where the button is, instead of, that if I'm walking in as a regular user trying to use this thing, it's a hot mess. So as a PM, I feel like it's my responsibility to ask the questions of, is this usable? Why would they click on that? Why would this be here? Hey, I'm color, accessibility issues. I'm colorblind, and this whole page is nothing but red and green. How am I supposed to understand to click on the green tab if, I see everything as gray? Or, maybe I cannot see. I lack sight. What does this site look for me if I'm using a screen reader? One of the things that I'm definitely going to raise, that I need to raise, that I have thought about in the past, is accessibility. We are a Fortune 500 company. We hire all people from all walks of life. There's going to be people trying to use our site, and it's going to be hot garbage if we, can't use screen readers, or, it's not accessible in that respect. So, wait, Beta Wolf, are you trying to tell us that being a PM is not that great? You know what, Beta Wolf, I'm not saying that it's not that great. I just think that the projects I like to work on are ones that I want to benefit the organization. Stuff that's customer facing, that requires you to make sacrifices. And I've seen this, and not where I'm working at right now, but I've been at organizations testing applications that are going to be public, and I see stuff, that is just a hot mess. And as a consultant PM, I ask the team, why are you building this? Well, we want to synergize the paradigms with, blockchain, AI, ML, and, we want all this bullshit. And I have to ask them, I wouldn't buy this. Why would I buy this? What is the point? Because once you figure out what the point of the application is, then you can say, well, okay, if I have a dog, I will put this on their collar, and I will be able to monitor their heart rate. Well, what happens if I put it on myself? Well, your dog's going to have a heart rate of, resting heart rate of 70 beats per minute or whatever. So Beta Wolf says, a lot of people are asking me why I'm moving away from being a consultant. My answer is I want to make a change internally, and I want to work on things internally. Lady P, translation, not that great. I found a lot when I worked at Leviathan, and I was working internally when the pandemic started. I was helping to improve processes. And if you go to their website right now, for instance, their job descriptions are the ones that I wrote for 85% of the jobs that are on there. The web application pen tester and those, that is lasting change, right? If I'm a security person working on an application, I will beat my hands on the wall bloody, only to be told, sorry, yeah, this has to be done. For me, working internally, these are processes that everybody has to follow, including myself. I'm going to be helping to affect change in an organization at the enterprise level for years to come. And it's not security, but security's there, right? When I get done threat modeling why a user would use this or how a user would use the UI, I can automatically flip the script and go, okay, well, now the user's going to, put 7 here in where a text file should be, or, it's going to upload a doc file, but it's really a PNG file or something like that. Well, I can't qualify some of the misspelled words that are on there right now, Beta Wolf. They may have made edits to those, but I'm not going to say that I misspelled those words. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm some people may call it empire building as well, but doing something internally that has high visibility with, putting this out and making it so that everybody has access to it for a decade or better, and it's going to, drive how we do things as a company. It could be empire building. I mean, if I was trying to go up in the org, it would be one of the first times I've ever gone up in an org without having to go away from a company to go up in an org. So, I'm cautiously optimistic because everybody seems to be on board with the changes that are made, and it's at least helping them think. And if there's something that I can do to help them, I'm definitely going to be one of those people in the snowplow pushing that shit aside if I can to help them get to where they need to be. The big thing for us in our pilot is metrics. And that's something I've always struggled with. It's like, how do we measure whether or not this pilot is going to be good? And I'm like, well, we can't say, at least it isn't the old stuff. If our only metric is, how do you like it compared to the old system? Well, it's so much better. Or, and being a pilot and being the person who's going to walk the application team through, I'm hoping I get high customer satisfaction scores, because it's like I'm pretty much white gloving them through the process instead of them doing it themselves. So I raised that question. I'm like, yes, we should get high CSAT scores at the top of the pilot, but in 6 months, we should probably go back and go, now that you don't have somebody doing white glove with you, how is the process? And then using the 6-month score once we're online to baseline the user experience after that. I am very much interested in how the customer experience will be after that point. But yeah. Yeah. So Beta Wolf, I can't use Grammarly or some shit like that. So, let me go to studio mode and big camera. Okay. Yeah. That's what I was afraid of. Edge browser. I actually have both of my screens on now with, there it is. All right. Transition. There you go. No, it's okay. It's all right. All right, cool. And studio mode. So, this is the news, the article that I got. There's an incident responder study, which I found interesting. Nice to see they added in a network pen tester job. So just as an aside there, Beta Wolf, one of the things that when I was, and I'm actually going through this with my boss right now, because I was like, look, if we're going to be hiring a bunch of new people for specific positions, we need to tailor the job description for what they're actually going to do, not, kitchen sink and unicorns and, do you have a doctorate and 12 years of experience when you're doing things like threat modeling and whatever? Don't need that shit. It could be very much an entry-level job because we can teach you how to be somebody who does this process. I'm trying to impress upon my boss the fact that we don't need people with doctorates in computer science to do this freaking job. And to hell with what the specific requirements are based on whatever. I was like, we need to fix this because we have a lack of good security junior positions in our industry as a whole. And this would be a prime example of putting in some junior positions for folks to get them a level up, if you will. So I have not read this document, so I will preface this by saying that this is a IBM Incident Responder Study from July 6th through 13th, 2022, Morning Consult. So this is actually on their website. So if you want to grab it, I would say grab it before they realize that it, I wouldn't say grab it before they realize it's on there, because it's out there. So they have some key findings. They're saying incident responders' sense of duty to help and protect others was by far the most influential factor attracting them to the profession. Continuous opportunity to learn and being rooted in problem solving followed as most influential factors. That's interesting. Sense of duty to help and protect others and businesses. I would say if you're new in the industry, that would be why. I don't get that sense of duty like they assume, but I want to make sure that places are secure. I just, I don't feel a sense of duty. I mean, having been in the Navy, honor, courage, commitment, and all that, I did not have any of those reasons. Those were not the three reasons I went to the Navy. It was college money, college money, college money, because GI Bill, GI Bill, GI Bill. And I did 7 years and it was great and I'm grateful and, I got a marketable skill and it's got me where I am today and I can't hate that. But honor, courage, commitment was not the three things that I thought of when I joined the Navy. They say at the same time, a sense of responsibility towards their team and managing stakeholder expectations were ranked as the most stressful aspects of reporting and responding to cyber incidents. Managing stakeholder expectations. What kind of stakeholder expectations would you have in a cyber incident? And who are the stakeholders? Are we talking trying to stay off the front of the Wall Street Journal, or, your CISO is expecting you to have done X, Y, and Z and you did X and Z, but not Y? I would love to, maybe there's more information down here. The key findings, hopefully we'll explain more down as we go through, but there's 25 slides on this. So I actually didn't know how big this was. The average incident response engagement is 2 to 4 weeks. Wow. Are those the people you send out to pick up food? The stakeholders. Lady P, you say that, there should always be somebody who can fly and buy, that kind of thing. If I was, when I was working incidents in the Navy, my chief, we would be working long hours or something like that. He would just throw his card down on the table and say, let's go get some, Chinese food, or let's go get something. If I was the CISO of an organization or, CTO of a fairly large organization and was working an incident, I would probably throw down the company card once or twice myself to make sure that everybody stays healthy and happy and fed and not having to, eat day old, tuna fish that's sitting in the refrigerator or what have you. But that's just me. Catering. Oh, why make somebody drive when you could just pull up a taco truck? That's a good idea, Lady P. Catering. Nice. That's very nice. Yeah. Very nice. Average incident response engagement is 2 to 4 weeks based on 48% of respondents. And 30% say an average incident lasts more than 4 weeks on average. Yeah, Lady P, yeah. No time to run out, sleep, or work. Yeah, exactly. So here's my question. I've always been of the opinion, and feel free to tell me I'm wrong here. Oh, maybe I should make this a little bigger. It's starting to look a little janky on the screen. So there we go. They say, there we go. 2 to 4 weeks or more than 4 weeks for an engagement. How is an incident more than 4 weeks? I mean, when I first started working in my organization in a different group, we were in the middle of an incident that was 6 months long. And the first thing I said when I found out that this had been going on for 6 months was, "Hey, Digital Warhead, what's up? Hey." When I heard it was going on for 6 months, the first thing I thought of was, this is no longer an incident. How can this still be an incident after 6 months? Why do we not have problem management or a dedicated PM? It took us more than 4 weeks to clean up ours. I would say it was probably 90 days. Huh. Okay. But should there be criteria for incident responders to say there's no longer an incident? You said cleanup was 4 weeks to clean it up, but once you've gone through the whatever the pickerel is, PICREL. I should know this because I did my 540 class. PICERL. Yeah. SANS.org, pickerel, preparation, identification, containment, eradication, recovery, lessons learned. Once you've gone through the recovery and done lessons learned, and it's like, well, this is what we have left. This is the follow-on work. Should this no longer be considered an incident and more of a problem management, or should there be like another group that is going to be working on the remaining work to be done? With not just prep, but let's say you're in the C, E, R, and L area here. Cleanup is in the lessons learned, or it's in the follow-on work, right, Lady P? I'm thinking there should be a dedicated PM resource for that with an idea of in X number of days this is going to be done. I can't imagine that we should have incidents that last that long. That 90 days was only to R. Recovery. Oh wow. Oh wow. So, Lady P, let me ask the question. Was that expected that it was going to take 90 days to recover? Or recover in terms of getting back to whatever it was you were doing before the incident. I'm assuming that's what you mean by R. Getting to the recovery phase is returning to like as if it never happened. Because my idea, we're talking replacing every machine in the company. It's funny. Well, do I have that document? Yes, I have that article. This is a fairly lengthy article from Vice Motherboard about, and we've talked at length with multiple different groups about how ransomware is causing chaos, or the technology stack behind American schools dealing with ransomware. Their idea of some of the ways that they fixed these was they replaced like 300 hard drives or something at a cost of 17, 18. Let me see where they. I read down. Yeah, here it is. 300. Instead of paying the ransom, the school decided to replace encrypted hard drives, ordering 300 new hard drives at a total of $18,667.94 for that. So, but yeah, I mean that is definitely a cost. But it just seems to me that there needs to be, or there should be, grades of incident response, or maybe it's no longer an incident once certain criteria have been reached or met. And then it becomes like a problem management, or it becomes like a lengthy thing where you're not dedicating the entire IT shop or the information security shop or whatever to getting back to whatever normal is. I would love to see if there are those kinds of criteria, or maybe like Lady P's about to tell me, it did take 90 days to get to those criteria. That's a lot of extra overtime and stuff. So they say the first 3 days of responding to attack are the most stressful. Additionally, more than a third say they're working more than 12 hours a day during the most stressful period of the engagement. The majority of cybersecurity IR folks think the rise of ransomware has exacerbated the stress and psychological demands required during a cybersecurity incident, with 81% reporting this sentiment. Whew. Why buy new drives? Couldn't they just be reformatted? Digital Warhead, that's a good question. Maybe I don't know why they didn't just reformat the hard drives. Maybe they wanted to keep them with the idea that at some point in the future they'd be able to decrypt the ransomware on them, or decrypt, the files that are on them. I couldn't tell you why they had to buy new drives. 3 issues. It takes longer to reformat. There's risk of reinfection, and how do you trust the firmware? There's a good point there. They may have been directed by the incident response company they bought to do that, because like Lady P said, it could be inside the system itself. Yeah, there could be some issues there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's ransomware that actually infects like the hard drive controller firmware or the computer firmware, but I guess it could be possible for reinfection like that. Yeah. Majority of there's 67% of cybersecurity IR people said they experienced stress or anxiety in their daily lives as a result of responding to an incident. Well, that's fair. It's out the ordinary. When you're an incident responder, I would say it's not your primary job. I agree with the easy way to make sure you don't mess things up. Yeah. I mean, somebody probably melted a credit card on Amazon to buy 300 drives, or, if they went down to Best Buy and bought 300 drives, it'd probably cost a ton of money. So how would you respond if the ransom was $5K, but remediation cost 20? Do you just pay the ransom with it being the cheaper option? Look at Moon Bounce. Lady P says, Moon Bounce. It's an inflatable bounce house. Why do you want me to look at an inflatable bounce house, Lady P? I'm just fucking around. There we go. No, you were right. I should have added I should have added something to that, but why do you want me to go to see a bounce house on Amazon? So here's Moon Bounce, which I have not heard of. There we go. At the end of 2021, we were made aware of a UEFI firmware level compromise through logs from our firmware scanner, which has been integrated into Kaspersky. This is, of course, from January of this year. Due to its emplacement on SPI flash, which is located on the motherboard instead of on the hard disk, the implant is capable of persisting in the system across disk formatting or replacement. So, yeah, this would have sucked, because if this had been a Moon Bounce thing at a school, they could have spent $18,000 to replace hard drives and then obviously still been infected. Purpose of the implant is to facilitate deployment of user mode malware that stages execution of further payloads downloaded from the internet. The infection chain does not leave any traces on the hard drive. Why are you calling? Oh, Gilman, you're killing me, dude. Everything's just happening right now, right at the same time. So the infection chain itself does not leave any traces on the hard drive, as its components operate in memory only, thus facilitating a fileless attack with a small footprint. Right. Lady P, I had a friend of mine who used to live up here, and I think he works for like Intel or AMD now, but he was trying to build a way of detecting UEFI malware, which is probably why he got slurped up by Intel. Hold on a sec. I'm going to tell my friend, sorry, I can't answer the phone. I'm in the middle of a stream. Well, I guess I am just kind of doing that right now, aren't I? Mr. Matt. Oh, there he is. Sorry, sir. On a stream right now. http / www. No, twitch.tv /breaksec. Can call later. There you go. Speaking of ex-Navy friends, I actually reached back out to him after a few years of, following him on the internet. Maybe it's a long shot, but if you have to touch every machine twice, thrice, cheaper just to replace everything at once. Yeah, I mean, I guess ideally what happened there, at least with the school, was the company they hired to tell them, if they're bad or not. They see that an outside agency investigating the issue and data concluded the data is not restorable from the servers. This means there'll be no computer and network access available until further notice. If they were able to, I guess maybe they diagnosed it and said, hey, you've got Lockbit or you've got something, and you're okay with replacing the hard drives. You don't have to replace all the computers or all the laptops, so you're not out 4K, of a 4K for a server or 2K for a laptop. And these were all, kids and students, so it is a pain in the ass. But 1 second, let me shut my door. Probably should grab my water at the same time. The one thing that gets me about the incident responders is being an incident responder is probably not the full-time job. So in addition to the stress and anxiety that they're already dealing with on the regular job, boom, they got an incident. Now they've got all this stress of their normal work, and they have to work the incident as well. Beta Wolf said hydrate. Oh, thank you so much. I would, but in my haste to get the stream started, I did not bring my water bottle in here. So I will just suck down spit. So we'll deal with that. Missed call. So yeah, I this is definitely a right. Lady P says, I don't want to be the one that says our files can't be recovered in .com. Yeah. That's why we have marketing and PR folks that can help spin that, right? We care about your security and your privacy are very important to us. No customer data was exposed during our breach. We are currently bringing in third parties to investigate something. All right. Have a good one, Beta Wolf, and hope to see you tomorrow night. Seriously, you come join us, hang out at Lunchbox Lab in Bellevue, and 6 o'clock, I think I've got it set for. So go check that out. Nearly 65% of incident responders sought mental health assistance as a result of responding to cybersecurity incidents. Well, yeah. If they had additional stress brought on by the incident, maybe that tipped them over the edge where, they weren't feeling very well. And so they felt like they needed to maybe vent a little, or, I've told these fuckers to do all this stuff and they didn't do it and we got breached, and, I told these fuckers not to do this. So it could be any number of things. So, oh, damn it. One sec. All right. So it's interesting. It looks like they're just going to go through the different slides and further expound upon these things, including the top items here. Rooted in problem solving, continuous opportunity to learn, sure. Competitive nature, sure. Compensation, wow. Okay. Okay. Some of these are resume generating events though. So, sometimes you don't have that. Oh, interesting. They broke it down by country. So everybody has a sense of duty and opportunity to help and protect businesses. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, digital. I will give digital a refund on channel points. Yeah. Please submit in triplicate your refund demand for final disapproval. So there you go. It's interesting how a lot of these are going right along the same lines. I mean, the outlier being India maybe is a little. I mean, they're rooted in problem solving. There must be something else that they have here that they didn't add. So, because I mean, these numbers are the same across the board except for that one. I mean, there's a couple. I guess this one's a little bigger than the rest of them. Yeah. So, or no, yeah, no. I don't. Oh, 3% have been excluded. Huh. Interesting. So 97%. This represents 97% of everything. 3% was excluded for whatever reason. Maybe they just didn't answer it, or they thought they'd be funny and write it off. Across most markets, half of cybersecurity incidents think senior leadership has a strong understanding of the activities involved in security response. Wow. Senior leadership has a strong understanding of activities involved in incident response, except in Canada, Spain, and the UK. Interesting. The funny thing is they say Canada, Spain, and the UK don't, but I mean, the difference between the UK and the US is only 4%. So 53% believe the senior leadership know what the fuck they're doing. The other 47% do not. That's the interesting one is the 7% in Japan who have no understanding at all, they feel. That hurts. That hurts. I mean, that's palpable right there, right? So can you imagine the 7% are like this? They don't know what the fuck is going on. They're just completely out in left field. Yeah, I just find that interesting and a tad bit humorous here. So, majority of cybersecurity incident responders think senior leadership provides necessary support. Well, yes, I would hope yes on that. See, I worry about the India. I mean, they're the only one who gave their leadership 100%. I mean, Australia, 99%. Okay, that's 1%, 2% for the U.S. I guess initially they would. I'm sure folks like Lady P would give 105% if they could in terms of support. And there's a number of necessary support structure for them to be successful. Could be a number of different things. Tools, staffing, response plans, etc. So those are some of the examples. So, I mean, most companies will hire a third party to come in and do the incident response. Tools, I would like to see the breakdown on this. If they think, they're going to hire a third party to come in and help fix this or help diagnose or something like that, versus do they give us enough tools and staffing? Probably not. It's been my experience that we're always looking for more headcount and we're always looking for better tools. So that one was kind of interesting. Managing expectations. So multiple stakeholders, pressure from C-suite and board, sense of responsibility toward your team or client to mitigate, push back on recommended response or remediation approach. These are the most stressful aspects of responding to an incident. Fear of missing something or the fear of getting something wrong. I think that would be the biggest one for me right there. Fear of missing something. I can definitely see that where you're like, did we check everything? Were we, did we miss a shell or did we miss some persistence mechanism or something like that? That one would get me. I think that one's the biggest one for me. Ineffective or unclear communication with the client team or CISO. Okay. Interesting. Digital warhead. Most senior leadership I unfortunately have to deal with wouldn't trust with a mom and a... You see, digital warhead. You're part of the UK, Australia or Spain or Canada folk that they couldn't find their ass with Google Maps and a flashlight so sense of responsibility towards teams to mitigate the incident is seen as the most stressful aspect. Oh, so this is the same slide, just in a different format. No, sense of responsibility. Okay. Interesting. India blows that out of water. Sense of responsibility toward team and client to mitigate the incident. Whereas pushback on recommended response, they got very little. I don't know why India. I'm gravitating towards India. I just find it interesting how they could have 100% up here on this. I'm not feeling that. I can't imagine 100% of respondents said that. On average, 71%. 4 weeks or less. Over 8 weeks. Wow. So a couple of places had over 2 months. Good majority is anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks. So that's pretty good. Okay. Anyway, I don't want to go through this whole thing because there's a lot to unpack here, but I would be interested in finding out. Lady P, thank you for refunding the channel points. I actually have unlimited channel points, so I don't know what I can actually do with mine. Let's see. There we go. There we go. Yeah. So for 3,000 channel points, you can suggest who we rate at the end of the stream. So I could probably put some more in there if people wanted to, but yeah, this is interesting. I'd love to talk to other incident responders. Oh, I can't give them out to users. Oh, I should probably do that. Or, have a moderator do that for me. If I knew somebody. If only I knew someone. Oh, yes. The one with the green sword. Wrong with the green sword. Lady P. Well, I'll just take my infinite channel points and go home, Lady P. Fine. Whatever. Whatever. I mean, no, seriously, I have infinite, so I'm invincible. Anyway, but yeah, I'd love to find out. If you're an incident responder, you've done this stuff. Does this jive with what is in the U.S. or the U.K. or the nearest country to you, like Super Lolly, if Super Lolly's on? Hawks fan, hello Hawks fam. But if I would love to see if these agree with you, or you agree with them, or they're just full of shit. So I'm gonna save this doc because I think we could talk more about it in the future. There we go. Also I will. This is a freebie. Sans doesn't pay for this. This is a methodology doc for incident response. The Pickerel. I think it's Pickerel. It's not Pickerel. Even though the CE would be an S, so it would technically be Pisserel. It probably is better, Pickerel, anyway. So the ransomware stuff, man, it is rough being an EduSec or in IT for these folks. I mean, it really is rough, and I don't think there's a more hostile environment, to be honest. You have laptops, or you have technology being given out to little hackers that are curious about getting onto things that you've blocked them from, without using some kind of I believe they even were able to get around things like what was in Chromebooks. So, I mean, if you want to have anybody hack your stuff, give it to a determined 12, 13-year-old who wants to do something cool on their laptop or what have you. And that doesn't include, it getting lost or, somebody else using it, not supposed to, like a family member or something like that. Sometimes these are the only laptops in the house because they lack access to technology for, because of income disparity or what have you. Even in Seattle, I think when we talked to April Murdoch, she was having to track down wireless access points for, forget how many kids it was. I want to say 750,000, but I know that that's not the case. It was a ton of, there was literally a shortage on Wi-Fi access points to where they could not get any more access points from T-Mobile or Verizon or whoever. There were no more access points available. That's just how bad it is. Let's go see what we got here in InfoSec. TD Bank. Yes, I posted that up. TD Bank. If you have what's TC Bank? God damn it. They were in the news last night. I saw it on Bleeping Computer, but yeah, see, this was interesting. So if you go Google TD Bank, there's a Bleeping Computer article that says TD Bank discloses data breach after employee leaks customer info. That is gone. It's not there anymore, and I'm not sure why, because there's other links to stories talking about it as well. Yeah, okay, so I did not read this article, but they have an update based on the Bleeping Computer stuff. So let me read this here. Editors note, we updated this story to include TD Bank's clarification regarding the data breach reported initially by Bleeping Computer, which this story was based on. Okay, so somebody saw Bleeping Computer and decided to write their own article based on another article based on the breach. Great. TD has a leak of customer data stolen by a former employee. The personal information was acquired by said employees, including full name, address, social security number. TD Bank, I think is. Oh, TD Bank is. Well, they say Vermont, so I'm thinking East Coast. It used to be TD Ameritrade, TD Bank. Because TD Bank locations. Oh, there's a couple. TD Ameritrade, which is the stock company. TD Bank, there we go. U.S. stores by location. Okay, so they're an East Coast kind of chain of banks. Pretty much East Coast, up and down the Eastern Seaboard. But TD Ameritrade, I think, is their brokerage firm thing. So you can buy stock with TD Ameritrade or what have you. Yeah. And TD Bank is just a thing on that. So Vermont's Attorney General received data breach notification stating that one of TD Bank's former employees was giving away the information to a third party outside of bank personnel. I think I posted the response to that. Yeah, here it is. I put it in our Discord. I hadn't had a chance to put it in our Slack. But here's the response to the Vermont Attorneys General, notifying your office of privacy event. By the way, privacy event impacting four whole New Hampshire residents. Our investigation identified 2 of our customers who are residents of New Hampshire and may have been infected. We recently learned one of our employees obtained and inappropriately used confidential customer information and provided it to an unauthorized party not associated with TD Bank. PII, the obtained name, address, account number of the primary account holders and secondary signers and or beneficiaries. This is an isolated incident that's being addressed through the internal investigation by our corporate security team and have contacted law enforcement. So I see why Bleeping Computer retracted their story quickly, because when I read it last night, it sounded like TD Bank basically was owned and all their data got exfilled by a former employee who still had access to some of the systems. But it sounds like that this was an existing employee who was sharing that information out. So stand by to stand by. It may not be as bad as they thought it was. But yeah, so yeah, TD Bank issues statement clarifying breach, official statement. Yeah. Initial report regarding a data breach has been inaccurate. TD, 2 retail customers in Vermont, 4 in New Hampshire. So it sounds like it sounds like that there's not a huge. This wasn't a huge thing. It just got inflated by potentially Bleeping Computer. I had to go in person and respond to AGs from 4 states. They made you like go into their offices. You can like send them a, that kind of form letter or something like that. That's crazy. Is that part of the breach requirements? Like you appear in person to, commit career seppuku and everything, get on a plane and everything, attorneys in tow. Wow. Did they make you fly coach? They make you fly coach there? Yeah. I bet they did. Cheap ass bastards. We're already paying for a breach. You're not going to pay for business class. So yeah. I don't. I don't fly. I try not to fly coach anymore anyway. When I'm going to San Diego in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be flying business class down and back. So business across the U.S. first if it's international. Oh, nice. My wife flew Emirates, I think, business class from Seattle to Dubai, long way, and then Dubai to I forget, India, Hyderabad, HYD, DXB to HYD. If you don't want to pay for that, I totally understand. Send with someone else. Right on, Lady P. So yeah, any stories you might have read about TD Bank? maybe not as big as they thought it was, which is why Bleeping Computer, turned it off, or retracted the story until they found out that it was Much Ado About Nothing. So, I saw something. Close that. There was a story today about writing that, for those of you who are regulars on the stream here, I'm going to be doing some Harvard Business School courses on management. Writing is a thing that's always kind of bothered me, and more so because of where I work at. They love them some writing here, I tell you. And they have a problem. Well, they being a good majority of the people at this organization have a problem with trying to make it perfect. So if there's a document that we have to generate to go and talk to management with, to talk about potential risks for something, we will spend a week and a half at probably 3 or 4 people at about 2 or 3 hours a day, if, just drafting it, for us to sit down with senior leadership for a 15-minute meeting to discuss the doc. Now, the efficiency person, read lazy, person in me says, this is bullshit and a waste of time and effort. And, and the worst thing is when you say that it's good enough and you still have people who are like up at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night working on this doc. And my point to them is the old adage, perfect is the enemy of good enough, right? Oh, very nice. Oh, that's baller there, Lady P. Lady P sent me a special message on the side about some other stuff. That's baller. Yeah. Oh God, that would be. I would have loved to have been in that room with you. But so writing has always come kind of rough for me. I'm very much I don't need 12 pages to say something in 3, and and I've had to. I tell these people this, it's like, no matter how good you make this doc, they're still going to have questions. They're still going to have comments. They're still going to have concerns. You may be able to allay 1 or 2 questions, but if you have enough people on that call, they're going to find questions to ask. They're going to find things wrong with the doc. And it's like, comes a point where it's diminishing returns, right? And it's like, say what you need to say and leave it alone until the meeting. If you think of something that might be worthwhile to come up, or a change in the doc, no digital warhead, bad digital warhead, no deep fakes of Brian, no deep fakes. Wait, there we go. I was hoping it would be a nice. Wait, let me get out of the way of the camera. There we go, or out of the microphone. I just wanted to get a nice, frozen shot there. So, oh, Lady P's working on my pixels. Okay. I look forward to seeing that. So, but yeah, it's, I'm going to have to voice first. That's not going to be hard there, Lady P. That's not going to be hard at all, actually. Yeah. I'm actually, It's okay. It's okay. I'm reminding myself that, with great power comes great responsibility, or something. But yeah, so it's one of those things. It just got to be good enough, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. It will never be perfect. And if you're trying to get 90% of correct, the distance or the level of effort to go from 80 to 90% is not worth the time and effort. So have a complete thought, figure out what you want to say and say it, and hazards of pain. You've got 9 years worth of audio to splice there, I am Brian. My voice has my password, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, I'm trying to not impose, but I'm trying to influence my coworkers to not spend that time, because I'm like, you spent 8 additional hours on you spent a day working on something that you should have been working on something else for that day. And it's like, yeah, I'm just, I know that what I'm doing is probably, I'm pissing in the wind and trying to row upstream with a single oar. But if I can get people to understand that, I'm hoping if I can get at least one person to follow along and to reach that level of understanding where I'm coming from, not from a laziness point of view, but from a waste of effort point of view, that it'll be better. But so, yeah. I'd love to sit here and chat some more, but I had to go pick up my daughter at school. My friend just called me from Tennessee. And we're supposed to go out for dinner because we can't go out for dinner tomorrow night because I've got Seasick East and I'll be going out to dinner with other folk. So I'm going to go. Love for y'all to join us on our Slack or Discord. If you bang Discord, you can join us there. Please accept the instructions and the rules and info to join our group. Sid Heresy. So Digital Warhead wants us to go raid Sid Heresy. I don't know how many people I've got on right now, but I will go ahead and do so. But /raid, that's way easier. No matches there, Digital Warhead. Sid Heresy does not exist. Do I have to be following them first? Let me go see. Twitch. And am I gonna, regret this? Probably not. I know Digital Warhead. Digital Warhead wouldn't steer me wrong here. So, science and technology, soldering, sound design, and music production. Okay. Oh, okay. So this is anybody under the age of 18. You're gonna have to, oh my, wow. I'm using this at like lowest possible level here. So let me bump it up to 720 here. Wow. Is he soldering and all? Wowzers. Okay. Wow. That's pretty sweet. Follow? No, I'm already following. Okay. Cool. So, yeah, let's go raid him. Invalid username. Oh, it's the @ sign that's killing me, isn't it? Raid SYD. SY. There we go. Okay. Well, everyone have a good day. Talk to y'all soon. Hope you enjoy yourselves and be safe. All right. Talk to y'all later. Bye.